Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Man gunned down, another escapes after breaking into Westmoreland wholesale. A man was shot to death during a confrontation with the police after he and his crony broke into a wholesale in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland on Sunday morning. The deceased has been identified as 31-year-old Dwight Mackenzie of a burnt Savannah address in the parish. The Corporate Communications Unit of the Jamaica Constabulary Force is reporting that one Browning 9mm pistol was recovered during the incident. The CCU said two men broke into this one wholesale on Louis Street and stole several items. The police got wind of the situation, and on their arrival on the scene, the gunmen confronted the lawmen. The police took evasive action, and Mackenzie was fatally shot. The other gunman escaped. The CCU said some of the stolen items were recovered. The matter is being investigated by the Inspectorate and Professional Standards Oversight Bureau and the Independent Commission of Investigation. Body found in Portmore Gully. Police have confirmed that the body of a man was found in Bridgeport, Portmore, St. Catherine this morning. The body, which up to press time was still unidentified, had what appeared to be gunshot wounds according to the police. It was reportedly found in a gully between 11 and 14 Autumn Avenue. Police have since disclosed that around 7:50 p.m. on Saturday, residents reported hearing explosions sounding like gunshots, and on Sunday, shortly before 8 a.m., the residents stumbled upon the body and called the police. Lawmen who responded discovered that the body, which was lying face down, had several gunshot wounds. The police said the body is of a dark complexion, about 5 feet 8 inches tall, and clad in a gray and yellow t-shirt, black pants, and black shoes. Several spent shells were found at the scene, the police revealed. Bartender killed in Manchester. A female bartender was shot and killed Saturday night in Land Settlement District in Manchester. She has been identified as 42-year-old Nakisha Harrison, otherwise known as Bumper. According to police reports, about 9:50 p.m. on Saturday, residents heard explosions in the area and alerted them. On their arrival, Harrison was found lying on the ground with multiple gunshot wounds. She was taken to the Mandeville Regional Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Investigations into the circumstances surrounding the shooting death are ongoing. Several schools yet to receive grants due to December from government for school operations, packed lunches impacted. The Jamaica Teachers Association JTE says several school administrations have not received grants due in December from the government for school operations. JTA President Lasandra Harrison explained that administrations were expected to receive the funds from the Education Ministry to facilitate day-to-day operations for this school term. She laments, however, that the date has passed, with several administrations still waiting to receive the funds. He says lunch is being prepared under the Program of Advance through Health and Education Path or among the operations impacted.
So that I'm sure is a concern for our administrators in how it is that they carry out the business of keeping school up and running, especially those who lead smaller institutions where literally they depend on those injection of funds from the Ministry of Education on a timely basis. Those normally would have been paid in December, and today they have not received. Many schools have not. Some have received. So in order for you to buy your office supplies, your supplies for canteen, all of that, you need to get the different funds in, be it your allocation for past grant, because that will certainly help in purchasing the food items to prepare the past lunch, and just your general operation to pay your janitors, pay your creditors, pay your internet service bill. So those grants are paid in tranches. One was due in December in order for you to kickstart this new term. So those monies are outstanding, and several schools are awaiting receipt of same in order for them to settle some of those bills that they would have outstanding, as well as those that would have been recently incurred in order to prepare for the start of this new school term.
More pressure on Gage Grey. Human rights organization Stand Up for Jamaica is peeved by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency CPFSA relationship with American educator Carl and the leeway that its boss Rosalie Gage Grey has received since the troubling situation has been made public. As reported by reporters last week, Uncle Carl, the head of the US-based charity Embracing Orphans, is accused of making sexual suggestive comments to wards of the state and sending them images and offers which made them uncomfortable. The call for the CPFSA boss to step aside while there is an ongoing investigation need to be mandatory and not a choice as it seemed to be. The government needs to take a stronger stance in the matter and remove all those responsible for the gross disservice meted out by our children, not just from CPFSA, but the agency supervising them. The true character of a society is revealed in how it treats its children, and said by Nelson Mandela, Carla Gutter, executive officer for Stand Up Jamaica, told reporters. There is no one else in the society which is in more need or vulnerable than children, especially those who have been abandoned. This is why the recent reports of the relationship between the CPSFA boss, Rosalie Gage-Gray, and Uncle Carl is so horrendous. This isn't the first report of its kind, as there was one years ago, despite protests that the NGOs, non-governmental organizations, have gone unnoticed, she continued. Education and Youth Minister Favour Williams told Parliament last Tuesday that she has sent the report to the police to determine whether charges can be laid against anyone involved in the saga that has stunned the nation. Williams also noted that Gage-Gray was told to step aside. I call on her to step aside at least while the PSC, Public Service Commission, completes its deliberations. We have to send a clear signal of zero tolerance for the care of children. It is only decent for this to happen, she said. Based on the report from the Office of the Children's Advocate, OCA, tabled in Parliament on Tuesday, January 10, 2023, Uncle Carl, whose education license was suspended in the United States in December 2016 after he was found culpable of professional misconduct and to have a high probability of repeating sexual misconduct with a minor, was allowed to maintain contact with the wards of state for 3 years after CPFSA was made aware of the allegations against him. Under the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Child, it is noted that children have a right to protect from harmful influences. Citing the convention, Gotella lamented that the fact that there have been previous reports of misconduct on the part of Uncle Carl, there should have been sufficient reason for the CPFSA boss to put an immediate stop between herself and the organization she represents that should support and protect the innocence and safety of these children. Instead, according to the OCA reports, there are clear instances of deception on the part of Mrs. Gage-Gray, which indicates that the protection of the former wards were not foremost in her thought process. The OCA reports that Embracing Orphanage described the beginning of its involvement in Jamaica in terms which hint more of romanticism, blind opportunity, and chances ordained by divinity, rather than any definite strategy, save for the illicit condition that attached to an orphanage would be desirable. Golota continued, in this a case of not wanting to bite the hand that feeds? Could other alternatives for transitional housing not have been found for these youngsters, or proper checks or thorough due diligence procedures not being conducted at the level of utmost importance? Seeing that those precious lives are already at risk as a result of not being blessed with stable homes and families, and their development is already being impeded by the fact that they already came under abuse and had instability to start their fragile life with, the stress that the general public needs answers. These reports have been turned over to the Ministry of Education, which has not given decisive action to date, at least to monitor and verify the unacceptable conduct of CPFSA. What is the government doing? What can we as a society do to stem the systematic lack of accountability, she told reporters. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and